What's up, you guys? Welcome to the channel. Today what I got for you are 10 things removed from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. And this is my first ever Call of Duty video on the channel in over 4 years now. So if you guys want to see me continue this series with the Call of Duty games, let's go for 2,000 likes. I just need to know you guys are enjoying the videos like this. Of course, we've got a GTA series like this on the channel going on. If you're a fan of that, you can check them out, link down below. But yeah, my goal with these videos is to inform the younger audience who are maybe just getting into the Call of Duty series about these previous Call of Duty games, what they were about and what they had to offer, and just some cool things that never made it into the game. It's always cool looking back, so hopefully you guys can learn something new from the video if you're new to the series, never played MW2, or if you're an OG, maybe you know all of this and it just takes you on a trip down memory lane. Nostalgia is always awesome. So nonetheless, hopefully you guys enjoy the video. And with that said, let's get started. So one of the first things we ever noticed that was removed from Modern Warfare 2 was the infamous spinning 10th prestige emblem. And this was discovered after someone unlocked every title and emblem in the game, and there was one missing, and nobody knew what it was. It couldn't be found in the game files. Infinity Ward never gave any sort of insight on it, which I still don't understand. But nonetheless, it wasn't until mods and hacks started coming around that someone used these to unlock every title and emblem in the game, as well as this missing one. And it turns out it's one of the coolest emblems in the Call of Duty series, probably the coolest one ever in my opinion. And it's the Modern Warfare 2 10th prestige emblem, except it's animated and it's spinning. And there has been so many rumors, so much speculation over the years as to how this emblem was supposed to be unlocked, because we know that there is no legit way to do it in game, and Infinity Ward has still never given us any insight on this and how exactly you were supposed to do it. So it's been narrowed down to two possible reasons. One is you complete all of the prestige challenges. There are 10 of them. You unlock different emblems for each challenge, and then after you unlock all the prestige emblems, supposedly this is like the grand achievement, which is this spinning 10th prestige emblem. The second one is the AK-47 Marksman Challenge, where you have to get 1,000 headshots with the AK-47, and then after this you get the 10th prestige emblem that's spinning. And due to some known error or glitch or bug in the game, this was never unlocked, and Infinity Ward just never addressed it, and it's just the world's biggest mystery now as to why we can't get the coolest emblem in the Call of Duty series and unlock it in a legit manner. Moving on, we've got something that still confuses me to this day. So in 2012, the map Favela actually disappeared from the map's rotations after receiving complaints from the Muslim gaming community, who had discovered offensive imagery contained in a decorative picture frame above a toilet on this map. And take it that this is over 3 years after the game has released, and it just now became an issue. So I'm all about respecting people's religion, but this one just baffled me as to why it was such a big deal 3 years later versus when the game came out. Nonetheless, after the map disappeared from the rotation, Infinity Ward and Activision did issue a statement regarding this topic, saying once the map is edited, it will be added back into the game, and it disappeared for like 3 weeks almost. So what this quote said on this picture frame, which can only be seen if you zoomed in on a sniper rifle, was that Allah is beautiful and he loves beauty. So this quote was actually attributed to the Prophet Muhammad, which is pretty cool, but it's also offensive to Islamic faith to see holy teachings written on or in a bathroom. And since this was in a bathroom and above a toilet, this is definitely offensive, so that I do respect. And it's cool to see that Infinity Ward and Activision did comply with this, and they actually replaced it with just a black picture frame. So very interesting stuff right there. So in case you don't know, Modern Warfare 2 only received 2 multiplayer DLCs, which is kind of out of the ordinary because within a Call of Duty's life cycle, normally we get 4 multiplayer DLCs. And the reason for this is due in part to 2 heads and senior employees of Infinity Ward who were fired due to breaches of their contracts in March 2010. And actually following this, throughout April and May of that year, over 46 employees, ranging from lead designers and programmers who helped develop Modern Warfare 2, they actually all left. So there was literally nobody left on the Infinity Ward team, pretty much freezing Modern Warfare 2 in time, because after this, we didn't get any patches, any updates for the game, and the only one actually that we have gotten was the favela bathroom. So that's why Modern Warfare 2 has 2 missing DLCs, and we know this for a fact because in the game files, we can actually find a few different multiplayer maps that were never used that were probably going to be added in with these 2 missing DLCs. And the first map is called Vertigo. It doesn't have a description, but we have an image of it, and it almost looks like a high-rise part 2. It looks like it's on top of a skyscraper, and it pretty much would have the same aspect of the high-rise map that was already in the game. Now, the next one is Oil Rig. Looks like it's based off of the mission The Only Easy Day Was Yesterday, where we sneak onto an oil rig and take this thing over and kill all the bad guys, of course. But this one can actually be played with mods within the game, which is very cool. Pretty cool map to play through, and it's also very similar to a Modern Warfare 3 DLC map called Offshore, so my guess is that maybe this map was recreated in Modern Warfare 3, and this was the original map we were supposed to get. Nonetheless, it was a fun map in that game. Moving on, we've got Gulag, which is based on the single-player mission, the Gulag, and the map description actually reads, for this multiplayer map, a nighttime jail fight, large-scale Russian prison fighting. So I think this map would have been a very cool, close-quartered, clustered, high-paced map. It would have been very fun to play through. And last up, we've got Riverwalk. Nothing is known about this map. There's no image, no description, but we can only guess what this map would be like. Now, being that Modern Warfare 2 has always been my favorite Call of Duty, I get sad talking about this next one, and that is the golden camo that never made it into Modern Warfare 2. So, supposedly there was supposed to be a golden camo. For some unknown reason, it was never added in, which sucks because in Call of Duty 4, we got a great look at the camos in this game, especially the golden one, and being that Modern Warfare 2 was in its own way an upgrade from COD 4 to an extent, there was a lot of things that were missing and that actually held the game back. And one of these would just be the camos, because after getting all these headshots and doing these weapon challenges, all we got rewarded with was the fall camo, which not many people liked and agreed with. So within the game files, we can actually find a golden Desert Eagle, which is really, really cool, knowing that at some point it was supposed to be added into the game, but unfortunately it wasn't. Nonetheless, the golden Desert Eagle looks very, very awesome. And if you ever happen to get into a hacked lobby or a challenge lobby, the golden Desert Eagle is something very fun to mess around with and something very cool to just play with. Now, if we stick to the topic of weapons, there were a couple weapons that never made it into the game. The first one is the Remington 870, and the texture sheet for this can still be found in the game files. The G36C, the STG-44, created class images for this one actually still remain in-game, which is cool, and then the AK-74U. So I noticed a lot of this stuff is actually just weapons that were in COD 4 that should have been in Modern Warfare 2, but they weren't. And moving on, we've got kill streaks. There was over like 15 of these that never made it into the game, but I just kind of picked out some of the ones that stood out the most to me and wanted to talk about them. So the first one is a tank. Imagine a freaking tank kill streak. I think that'd be pretty OP considering the noob tubes. And speaking of that, the automatic grenade launcher was another one. Screw this, I would have just snapped my disc because we know noob tubes were a huge issue in the game that never got fixed. And imagine an automatic grenade launcher. And last up, the coolest one in my opinion that never made it into the game was the MH6 Little Bird. And this can be seen in campaign as well as multiplayer, where the Little Bird is actually a helicopter that drops your care packages. But as for the kill streak, it probably would have been like in Overwatch. I think in Modern Warfare 3 it was called the AH6 Overwatch, where you call it in. It's a helicopter that kind of follows you around and shoots enemies that are in your vicinity. It wasn't actually too overpowered. It actually wasn't the best kill streak in the game. Now, there were actually over 15 plus perks that never made it into the game. Just like kill streaks, I just picked out the 2 or 3 that stood out the most to me. And the first one is Primary Stand. Thank God this one was removed because it allowed you to have a weapon of choice while in Final Stand. So imagine imagine you're one away from a nuke, you shoot a guy, he goes into Final Stand, and he chooses an ACR with a noob tube on it, and he shoots you and ruins your kill streak, versus him having like a pistol or a secondary submachine gun. Screw Last Stand, worst thing to ever be implemented into the game.
Fuck you, Last Stand!
The next one is Explosive Bullets. pretty OP sounding in my opinion. Basically, your bullets exploded on impact, so I'm guessing if they hit a wall or something, they would explode and probably do a lot of damage to you and probably kill you. So thank goodness this one was removed as well. I think Infinity Ward probably realized this one was pretty OP. As for single player, there weren't too many changes to this, just a few missions here and there that were replaced or combined with missions that we actually have in-game. But one of the major and notable ones is that in the mission Cliffhanger, I think it's the first mission in the game, we play as a man named Roach, and we are following Captain Soap McTavish around. And originally, we weren't supposed to play as Roach, we were supposed to play as Soap, and we were supposed to follow Captain Price around, just like we did in Call of Duty 4, which would be pretty cool. I like how the story ended up playing out, but Captain Price and Soap are like the OG Call of Duty duo right there, two of my favorite characters of all time in the Call of Duty series. Now, if we go back to multiplayer, there's a couple different weapon changes. The Thumpers were meant to be akimbo, which is cool. The Thumper is a very horrible weapon in the game. It sucks. Or maybe I just don't know how to use it. The TMP and the PP2000 were originally primary weapons instead of secondaries, and they had obtainable camos. And lastly, you could actually choose to throw the throwing knife left or right. You could choose which direction you wanted to throw it. Now, last up, we've got cut game modes. There's a couple of them. The first one is Global Thermonuclear War, where a team guards this bomb until it goes off and a nuke ends the game. The second one is Die Hard, where every player is given Final Stand, and players in Final Stand are marked in green on the minimap. So I'd say this is the only instance where Final Stand is okay. VIP, very similar to Capture the Flag, but instead of a flag, a player is selected randomly to be protected by teammates. Arena, a team deathmatch style game mode, except all the players have one life, and when there is one player alive or left alive on each team, a flag spawns, and the teams must fight over control for it. So, that's pretty much 10 things that never made it into Modern Warfare 2. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If so, and you want to see some more Call of Duty content like this on the channel, be sure to give it a thumbs up. We're going for 2,500 likes. If you guys want to see more of this, subscribe and turn on notifications to never miss out on another daily video game upload. And with that said and out the way, I believe that's just about it. You guys all take it easy. Have a safe one. My name is Zach Cox, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.